What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new StarCraft 2 video, so let's get into it. So guys, in today's video we're going to be talking about StarCraft 2 and esports as a whole, and the question of the day is StarCraft 2 the most challenging game in all of esports? So let's talk about it. So when we talk about esports as a whole, guys, we got to look at a number of different things when we talk about the most challenging games in the world. So number one is the simple amount of micro and macro in a game. And so that's kind of the number one thing that I look at, is really what is it as far as the micro and the macro comes into consideration in any given video game. What are schematically and strategically, how challenging are those things in a game in particular? The next thing that I look at is obviously, is it a team game or is it a solo game? And I look at things in terms of, even though esports, guys, I know a lot of times esports personalities and people within esports don't like talking or comparing themselves to traditional sports, a lot of times I like to compare. And so let's talk about that. So we look at like League of Legends, Dota, Call of Duty. I look at those games as like the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, games that are team-based esports, right? When we talk about StarCraft, I put it in a whole nother category. I put it in a category as in, it's a 1v1 game, so I look at it as the tennis of esports. So in tennis, guys, obviously it's just you. You're all by yourself, and it is the most, in my opinion, the toughest sport in the world to play, simply because not only do you have to be very precise with your shot, but you also have to be very quick. Your endurance has to be absolutely spectacular, and it really a lot of times comes down to who can tire the other opponent out. I look at StarCraft in this mindset, simply because some of these games can go on for a very long period of time, similar to a tennis match, not quite, 3-4 hours like some tennis matches do, but still, StarCraft 2 games can go very long, and it's just you all by yourself going at it against other players at the highest level of esports. Some will argue that Dota or League of Legends or CSGO takes more skill, and I do think that there are certain situations in which those 1v1 gunfights or those 1v2s, 1v3s, those are very difficult in games like CSGO, and then you talk about League and you talk about Dota, there's a lot of macro, a lot of micro that goes into those games as well. However, you are on a team. It is a team-based esport where you are able to play, and obviously each player, needs a specific amount of skill sets in order to be successful, but in StarCraft, it's all up to you. And I think that becomes the main difference between StarCraft and any other esport in the world, is just the fact of the matter is that you don't have a team. You are by yourself. And it is basically, in my opinion, the tennis of esports, because you can even look at the numbers. StarCraft 2 doesn't do the numbers of Dota or League of Legends, and it's not really even close, right? Same thing goes with tennis versus the NFL or basketball. It's basically the same thing. The numbers are not quite there. However, that doesn't mean it's more challenging or less challenging than those games. And I will say this, guys, it's a massive debate, because you got to wonder, because it's all up to the interpretation and how people look and different angles that people look at certain things within these esports titles. But I got to say, guys, that StarCraft 2, and I've been around the esports landscape, you could say, for quite some time now, and I've watched a lot of different games, lots of different esports, and I gotta say that StarCraft 2 is just simply the most challenging. You look at throughout the course of a tournament, throughout the course of a series, whether that's a best of 7, a best of 5, best of 3, whatever it is, and you just see how much goes into StarCraft 2 and just how challenging it is. Really is like a chess match against your opponent. And we all know that chess is one of those games that is very, it's an easy game to learn, but it's a very hard game to master. And I find that StarCraft 2 is exactly that. It's just a very hard game to master and become one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world at that particular esport. So yes, guys, in my analysis, I would say that StarCraft 2 is the most difficult game on earth when it comes to the esports side. I would say it's the most challenging. I would say that it is a very easy game to learn, but it's very hard to master. And I would say, guys, that it's like the tennis of esports. It's just a very difficult game, like I said, to master, and you're by yourself going up against other individuals at the highest level of an esport in the world. But of course, guys, that doesn't mean that there's not other esports that are super challenging. A lot of these are very challenging esports, like CSGO, like Dota, like League. They are challenging esports, but are they the most challenging? I want to know from you guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Is StarCraft 2 the most challenging esport in the world? Or is it a different game? Is it a team-based game? Is it a different one? Is it like Smash? Or is it something else? What do you guys think? I want to know in the comment section below. Let's have a real conversation. And I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Stay positive. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.